Hey guys, Steve here from Blossom Racing. Gonna shoot a video for you guys, and this video is gonna be on ring end gap. So we have a Wiseco piston here. Here's the set of rings. When you pull these out of the package, this ring set is for a 3-ring piston. As you can see, this is a 2-ring piston. So now we got to figure out which rings that we need. So you have the 2 bottom scraper rings. So you need both those. You have the waffle ring or the expander ring. You're going to need that as well. And then the 2 top compression rings. We have to figure out which one that we are going to use. So the best way to do it is looking at the edges. You want to make sure that the edge is shiny. Here you have a black one, and then it has like a little lip on the edge. So the black one, which is normally on a 3-ring piston, it's going to be the middle groove. So this one we're going to eliminate. If you get a 3-ring piston from us, then you're going to use this one. But this is a 2-ring, so we are going to just toss this one away. And we're going to keep the top ring. All right. So let's get into the paperwork. So with this ring set comes a instruction thing from Wiseco. Talks about on the back the positioning of all the rings and everything. The waffle ring, how to install them correctly with the tips up is correctly, and incorrect is overlapping. So that's what the illustration does right there. If you overlap them, the waffle ring, that's incorrect. Correctly butted, you got to butt the tips together. Personally, I usually put the tips down instead of up. So that's just a personal preference for me. But anyway, let's go over to the other side where it says, check for proper ring end gap. Failure to ensure proper ring end gap may cause ring tips to butt and engine damage could occur. Number 1 talks about a torque plate. We normally don't use a torque plate on doing the ring end gap. Usually doesn't distort it very much. So number 2, check the end gap by placing the ring into the cylinder. Cylinder bore should be free of taper. Use the piston to square up the ring in the bore and check the end gap by using a feeler gauge. So basically what it's saying is take your piston, here's your top ring, and I'm just going to set it into the bore. So it's into the bore and it's not square to the bore yet. And how you do that is you just grab your piston, push it down till both sides of the piston are flush with the TDC, top dead center. And now your ring is down in there perfect. Take a pair of feeler gauges, locate the tip of the ring, and you're just going to insert that feeler gauge, and you're just going to keep going until you figure out what your ring end gap is. So the ring end gap on this ring right now is 15 thou. So let's read a little bit further on the paperwork here. It says to see the below table for proper ring end gap for your application. The oil rails, which are the bottom 2 rings, may be installed without modifying the end gap. The gap should be a minimum of 0.010. Okay. Let's go to ring end gap table instructions. We're going to skip the millimeter ones because nobody uses millimeter, right? We're all in inches. All right. Sounds good. It says to multiply your inch bore by the bore X. Down here in the column, you got two bore X's. One bore X is the top ring, and the other bore X is the second ring. So you're going to figure out which ring you're using, and then you're going to take your bore size, which this one is 3.633, and you're going to times it by one of these numbers here. And you'll see they have different applications: dirt, ATV, snow, PWC, high performance, street, strip, street moderate, turbo, nitrous, late model, stock. So this is kind of all reference to like big cars. So we're working on juniors, so it's going to be a little bit different. So let's read this. The chart to the right is a general guideline. Each ring should be fitted to the particular cylinder in which they are to be installed. The gap on the second ring should always be larger than the top ring end gap. This will help to reduce top ring flutter and lifting. All right, good information right there. So what this all means, right here we have a 3.633 piston. So 3.633 times, and if you look at this chart, it's saying to times it by 0.004 for dirt, ATV, snow, and PWC machines. So 0.004 equals, so this is calling for a 14 thousandths ring end gap. So the big question is, do we use that? And the simple answer is going to be no, we don't. So over the years and years of building these engines, we have found a standard for these rings. So a little history on rings real quick. So this ring, or from Wiseco, when we went and started working with Wiseco, they basically said to us, here's the ring packages, you know, kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. With this, what came first, the rings or the piston? And the simple answer is the rings. So basically Wiseco said, here's the ring sets that we have, the sizes, and then we built pistons to fit those rings. So one ring set could potentially work for 2 or 3 different piston sizes. So as you know, one piston's going to be bigger, so you're going to have more ring end gap on that. One piston's going to be the smaller one of the 3, so therefore your ring end gap is going to be pretty small. So typically, our standard for just about every single piston that we run in these juniors, we run a minimum of 6 thou ring end gap. So nothing under 6 thou. You're just getting too close together and going to cause some problems under 6 thou. Now, the big question is, okay, well, what's the biggest ring gap that you can run? And that is the big question. And it's a tricky question. So I've run them before at 16, 20 thou ring end gap and had no problems with it. You get a little bit more blow by in an application like that. But the problem that we run into is that sometimes is the only ring package that we have. Some cases you'll get a ring package that's 20 thou or bigger end gap, and sometimes in that application you can go to the bigger ring set, which when you put that in, it has 0 ring end gap, but you should be able to trim a little bit off that ring to at least get your 6th thou. So so some of the pistons do get kind of tricky. So I would say no bigger, no larger than like your 20 thou ring end gap is about where you're going to want to be. Okay. So with that being said, let's just get into this one. So this is a 3.633 bore, and this is a set of 9225XX ring sets. And so we're just going to fit it in here. And so the top ring is about 15. So I got 15 thou end gap on this. So if you went by this chart's going to call for like 14 thou, I believe it was. Yeah, like 14 thou. So this ring, this top ring, needs no modification whatsoever. If it did need any modification, I would simply just go and cut a little bit off of the ring on the tip here, just ensuring that, you know, you stay straight. And then when I get done with the ring, especially after cutting them, you just grab a little stone and you come in on the tip right here and just kind of rub it across there. And that's just getting rid of any sharp edges to keep from scoring up your cylinder. I mean, you don't want to go in there and scrub it. You just want to knock any sharp edges off of them just like that. So pretty simple, nice and easy. We'll set that ring aside. This is the support ring. Most of our pistons have support rings now. There's still a few out there that don't have support ring, but eventually every single one of our pistons will have a support ring. Reason being is because without the support ring, all of your oil scrapers and your waffle ring will all line up over the wrist pin hole. They'll tip down in, everything then overlaps each other, and you don't have any pressure on your oil scraper rings, and then your engine starts smoking. So the support rings usually never need any end gap done on it. It has a little nipple in it, a little dimple, and that dimple you're going to line up downwards towards the rod right at the wrist pin hole. And that little dimple right there kind of holds the ring so it can't turn on the piston, okay? All right, so let's get into the scraper rings. Here are the scraper rings, and same sort of application here. You're just going to set it in just right at the top. Take your piston, push it down until you're at top dead center right there with the piston. Just like that. And then you're going to take your feeler gauge and you're going to come in and you're going to check your ring end gap. So let's try a 16 now. So 16 goes, 17. So we got about 17 thou ring end gap on this second ring. And if you remember reading this, some of the information on this is good. Some of it we don't use in our application. So if you have any questions about that, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. But hopefully this video covers all your questions. So this one has about a thou or two larger ring end gap, which is what this paperwork calls for. So that's good. Because right here it said the gap on the second ring should always be larger than the top ring end gap. This will help to reduce top ring flutter or lifting, okay? So, you know, run with that right there. So we'll set that ring down, and we're going to come in with the second ring. Don't ever assume that the second ring is going to be exactly the same. So always check both of them. I'm going to come in, feeler gauge again, about 17 thou. Try the 18. We got 18 there. All right, and same thing with these. You know, just kind of spread them apart. Take your stone and just get the tips. Get your other one. Get the tips, just the corner of them. And again, all you're doing is just getting any burrs or anything like that off of them so that they don't touch your cylinder. Do you have to do that on the support ring? Negative. Reason is the support ring is actually not going to make any contact with your cylinder at all. So this ring, you actually don't need to do that too. So there's that. Hopefully this video helps you out a little bit with ring end gap. So major rule of thumb, minimum is 6 thou. Always try to shoot for, 6, 7, 8 thou ring end gap on your top ring. Your bottom two rings, you're going to shoot for maybe 1 thou bigger than whatever your top ring is. If your top ring, is 8 thou, then shoot for 9 thou on your bottom rings. So hopefully this video helped you guys out on the ring end gap. And it's been a while since I posted a video, so we've been really busy this winter with freshen ups. And hopefully I'll get back into these videos and get them posted on here. Like and subscribe to my page. If you guys have any suggestions for any future videos, let me know. I'll try. I have a list of some more videos that I'm going to do yet. And so let me know, and I'll get them done when I can. All right, thanks, guys. Take care. Have a great day.